Are you serious? Are you serious? Well, we're very serious, and we have very serious situation, I believe, developing now. I'm getting rocket sirens going off all over Israel, and we're also getting reports of shooting all over Israel, shootings, as well as explosions. Let me just, and I've got an update right here that's pulling up on my reports. So give me a moment here. And I'm going to break this all down for you. Just 1 second. Real quick, we just put this shout out real fast about Noble Gold. If you're worried about the future of the U.S. economy, you probably should be. The wars, the rumors of wars, the hurricanes, the strike of all the shipyards, and just the chaos of the election. There's so much uncertainty in the air, guys. I can understand why you'd be fretting about your retirement savings. But there is one asset that stands the test of time, and that's gold. And gold's a biblical currency. For centuries, gold has been the hedge against the market volatility and economic instability. With a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investment, you can harness the power of precious metals to help protect your financial future. By rolling over an existing IRA or 401k into a self-directed gold IRA, you can enjoy the potential for long-term growth and stability. Diversify your portfolio with the tangible asset that has real value, gold. And setting up a gold IRA is pretty easy to do. Noble Gold Investment will help you. They've got expert guidance, or you can purchase gold or silver there. Just go to www.pastorpaulgold.com. That's www.pastorpaulgold.com, or call them at 877-646-5347. If you set up a gold IRA, silver IRA, you could qualify for 10 of these. This is Donald J. Trump coin. It's 1 ounce of silver. You get 10 of those, or maybe you'd rather have a 10-ounce silver bar of the American flag, or you can purchase these there. Just go to pastorpaulgold.com or call them at 877-646-5347. You'll be glad you did. This is a very serious situation now taking place as we speak. Let me see if I can turn up the volume. You hear these are rockets going off. These are rockets, if you can hear that. Also, I have updates right now. Let's go to live. This is Agenda. This is the guy from Agenda Free.
There, we're seeing more interceptors go up. More interceptors going up.
You can hear the sirens.
Wow.
This is the most, they think, ever amount of rockets.
Look at this. Whoa, we just saw an interception. But we're seeing things fall. We're seeing things come down.
Rockets.
We're seeing things come down. And maybe, I don't know if those are missiles coming down that were missed, but we saw what looked like some interceptions.
Yeah, you can see it. I can see
more
interceptions exploding, but I also see rockets getting through.
It looked like that some of the missiles got intercepted and some didn't. It looked like a couple lit. Now explosions.
Yeah, those are explosions.
Wow,
those are rockets that are hitting. You can hear them. This is Tel Aviv.
Explosions in Tel Aviv.
It's happening in Tel Aviv.
More rocket alerts now. I'm seeing more rocket alerts or missile alerts, whatever.
And right here, I'm going to show you. This is a list of towns and villages. I'm just going to show you, and it's just going off right now. This is a list of towns and villages where rockets are hitting or are headed toward. The IDF has made an announcement. You can just see this. This is unbelievable. I've never seen this many ever. Okay? I've never seen this many ever at one time. This is the mother lode, if you will, of rockets. This is Iran orchestrating Iran trying to stop. This is it. Let's find out more.
Those might be incoming. Look at that.
They're more than just rockets. They are missiles and rockets.
They keep coming.
They must have just released, and these are coming from Iran.
How is Israel going to respond to this? How is the U.S. going to respond to this?
These are missiles coming out of Iran.
More projectiles in the sky there above Tel Aviv. Interceptors, those look like.
I think what
this is unreal.
We have here is you hear the explosions.
Just saw something come down. Saw something come down fast.
I'm hoping those are landing, though. I do not see massive smoke or fire.
There's more rocket alerts.
I do see fire
that seem to be happening. I think.
I'm hoping those are landing not in the city of Tel Aviv.
I can't tell you what kind of damage has been done.
Yeah,
we'll have to wait and find out.
But what I'm seeing right here is I see where they landed. Some of these missiles got through. There's explosions, but what I'm hoping is it didn't hit in the city and hit actual buildings, but that it landed short of the city. I'm not sure. I definitely see the explosions. I see the smoke, even though it's nighttime there. The smoke is roaring out there. They're massive now, but there's so many missiles. Looks like Hezbollah is firing off rockets, and Iran must be firing off missiles. But before this attack began, folks, there was a man walked into a synagogue, shot and killed somebody at a synagogue, and then another man got off a train, and then he shot 3 people in the street in Tel Aviv. These were individual lone wolves doing that while everything else was happening. You're hearing the sounds of the actual attacks. It's a little bit of a pause. There's a lot of chaos. Now the IDF has spoken, and they have said.
Hang on one moment.
You can hear the IDF has told all citizens of Israel, go to your shelters and stay till we tell you. And that Israel is the IDF.
All right, if I have a second, I'll do some research and try to figure out what happened.
Okay, so IDF has spoken and has told all the citizens of Israel, take shelter, listen to your local leaders, go to the shelters, stay till you're told to get out. And also, the IDF will do everything they said in their power to stop and protect the nation of Israel. This is an all-out war now. Looks like it's launched by Iran and out of Lebanon. And maybe it's coming out of other places. It's so early now. It's too early to know.
More of them. This is central Israel.
Yeah, there's a massive amount. It's not just Tel Aviv. Even though I was showing you, letting you hear the rockets and the explosions, but I can see here on my phone that Heidi just gave me with all the rockets. If I can, okay, that you can see those are all the little towns and villages all across the entire nation of Israel where rockets or missiles were incoming. Now, David Sling is involved. There is the Iron Dome, the Patriot systems, and other defense mechanisms that Israel has that they probably don't even tell you about to deal with this. They've known that there was a day coming when the overwhelming attack would come upon Israel. And this is happening. It's incredible today. Tomorrow, of course, you guys do know that tomorrow is the Feast of Trumpets. Tomorrow, as the sun sets, is Rosh Hashanah, is the Feast of Trumpets. I'm surprised that Iran and Hezbollah, whoever's left at Hezbollah, because most of them are dead, most of their leaders, Iran is orchestrating this now, okay? This is totally Iran orchestration. I'm surprised that they decided to launch this thing the day before Rosh Hashanah. And they may have decided to do that because they might have felt that Israel was expecting it on Rosh Hashanah. And they may be deciding that this is the first of several waves of missiles and rockets. Okay? This is it's insane. I hear people in the background. They're talking. There's some. So there's a little bit of confusion right now over Tel Aviv. Right now over Tel Aviv, it's a little quiet after a ton of rockets came flying in. And it looked like, and no doubt, some of them got through. I seen them get through. I seen them land. I seen explosions. I heard the explosions, and I seen the smoke rolling. Did they hit buildings, or did they fall short? Did they fall just short, or did they actually hit buildings? This is a question we don't know yet. Israel Hall called me a few minutes ago. He's monitoring, find out what's going on. And so we're watching very closely. This is an overwhelming. Iran launches a large missile attack on Israel. This is not Hezbollah or the Houthis or Hamas. This is Iran itself. I'm not saying that there isn't rockets also coming out of Lebanon as well. But Hezbollah is so in disarray right now with their top 13 leaders all dead, including the top guy been leading them for 32 years. Let's see what else they're saying. I hear more explosions.
So now we have to figure out what was hit.
So he's doing an assessment right now, and he's in Tel Aviv. The rockets, though, are more than just Tel Aviv. The rockets are all over the country, okay? By just looking at this right here, the number of rockets is in the hundreds, just by looking at where all of them would have went and all the different locations. And now they're still going off. And there's just a tremendous amount of rockets here that are still being fired. Right now, they're backed off Tel Aviv a little bit, but they are landing in the industrial area and in the Ben Yehuda industrial zones, up in the Upper Galilee. There was rockets that hit in several locations in the Upper Galilee and the southern Golan area. I've been up in there before. I know where that's at. That's over at the Golan Heights. And if you go over top the Golan Heights, you'll go right on into toward the Sea of Galilee. You're going to be in that Upper Galilee area. Also, south of the Negev Desert, there's rockets hitting there. Also in the center of the Negev Desert, over by the Dead Sea, hotels, the Rodham Industrial Zone, the Mitzvah Shalim rockets, all over the place. In the Negev, in the center Negev, the southern Negev, the Upper Galilee area, just south of the Golan, every little community that you can think of. There's Bet Shemesh, I've been there, and that's where my good friend Rabbi Harry Moskoff lives. Rockets have fired at them. West Jerusalem, rockets fired at the center of Jerusalem, rockets exploding over northern Jerusalem. So this is the whole country, okay? It's not just one area. It's massive. Let's find out more.
Hold on. Breaking news. Police say they are investigating report of terrorists at a hotel in Herzliya. Okay. Manny Fabian, Times of Israel. Police say they are investigating a report of terrorists at a hotel in Herzliya, which is, I assume, let me look it up there. That just came in from Times of Israel's Manny Fabian. Herzliya is near Tel Aviv. Well, yes, it's north of Tel Aviv. It's not far. It's a few miles north of Tel Aviv, an affluent city in the central coast of Israel, northern part of the Tel Aviv district. So, unconfirmed reports. Police say they're investigating report of terrorists at a hotel in Herzliya.
There's also reports the IDF is saying that Hezbollah was ready to make their own invasion.
But again, 8 dead in that terror attack at a train near a light rail station near Tel Aviv right before the missile attack.
8 dead. And that was before the missile attack, just like he said. That was gunmen who killed 8 people in Tel Aviv just before the missile started flying. Now, the IDF has just announced that Hezbollah was going to make an invasion, a ground invasion, just like Hamas did. It was scheduled to happen October 7th on the anniversary of the overwhelming invasion of Hamas. On the 1-year anniversary, Hezbollah was going to do the same thing. But Israel has stopped that by starting the campaign of the exploding pagers, the exploding walkie-talkies, the assassination of the top 13 leaders of Hezbollah, and blowing up many of the sites. And Israel has preemptively and covertly raided now 1,000 sites in southern Lebanon. The army revealed that 3,000 terrorists were in position. They were going to storm the Galilee. But Israel has stopped that. Now, so Iran is now launching war on Israel. What will Biden do?
Iranian Revolutionary Guard says this is the first wave of attacks on the occupied territories. Again, Al Jazeera says this is the first. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard says this is the first wave of attacks on the occupied territories, which they mean Israel. That is from Al Jazeera. They just posted that. I'm going to get you more about what the IRGC said. I'm seeing report of what Iranian Revolutionary Guard, part of the Iranian military, said.
Benjamin Netanyahu has left a statement, and he's saying that he says to the Iranians, Israel stands with you. You will be free sooner than people think. And this is yesterday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu letting people know that he apparently thinks, or he's making the statement that he wants to take out the Iranian regime.
Hamas leader who was killed in Tehran in July, Allah, who is the leader of Hezbollah, and also Abbas Neil Foruzhin, who was also killed. He was an Iranian Revolutionary Guard general killed in these. Oh, new rocket alerts! New rocket alerts right now. Where are these? Only one so far I'm seeing. There's one in northeastern Israel, two in northeastern Israel, two in northeastern Israel. We'll see if there are any more. No, more now. We're seeing more now. A few rocket
next
alerts
wave
across the border in northeastern Israel. More coming in. More coming in there on the. More coming in on the so far red alert map. I'll keep an eye on that. Guy Elster with Walla News says that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard said they fired dozens of missiles at Israel in revenge for the killings of Nasrallah, Haniya, and the Quds Force commander. A Quds Force commander in Lebanon? Yes, who got killed in Lebanon. Iran warns of more attacks. Iran warns of more attacks if Israel responds. There is some sort of press briefing. It's not going to be in English, but about the terror attack.
So here's what we're finding out. The White House says President Joe Biden and Harris are convening in a meeting to discuss the Iranian attack at the White House. So that's happening right now at the White House. Also, police say 8 civilians were murdered. 8 civilians were murdered. 7 others were wounded in a terror shooting attack in Jaffa. So 8 Israeli citizens murdered and 7 others wounded in a terror shooting attack in Jaffa. Also, the IDF says that the Iranian missile attack is ongoing and that Israelis should all remain in the shelters, that it's not over. And police are now investigating reports of terrorists in Herzliya Hotel, which is also in Tel Aviv. So that's a separate incident than the shooting attack where it killed 8 Israelis and wounded 7 others. So the chaos of the attacks are taking place right now. Okay, police are giving a report, and it's in Hebrew. I can't understand it. And but anyway, Israel is bracing for the second wave. Senior White House officials say move will carry severe consequences for Iran as the U.S. sends more troops to the region, and Iran said to inform others of size and timing of strikes. So there is a second barrage or second wave is being threatened by Iran right now. So this wave is not even over, but Iran is already talking about a second wave. Now I'm looking at the skies, and they're a little bit quiet over Tel Aviv right now, no doubt about that. But I'm sorry, it's a little chaotic at this moment. The amount of rockets is just the Jordan River. Over at the Jordan River rafting, rockets were fired. These are just some of them I can, Ben Gurion College, the Dead Sea Hotels, the Rotem Industrial Zone, Bet Sherim, the Eden Gidi Bath area. So that's over by the Dead Sea, in that area, the Negev desert area of certainly Jerusalem itself, as rockets were fired all over, headed in Jerusalem area. Now the question is, how many of these actually got through? We know some did. I actually seen some of them get through over by Tel Aviv. That's for sure. But the question is just how many got through? Some. How much damage has Iran been able to inflict on Israel? We don't know. Did Israel's David Sling and Iron Dome able to shoot down a lot of them? Absolutely. Matter of fact, shot down probably a high percentage. But when there's people are firing at you in these numbers, it's incredible, very incredible, and very difficult to figure out what's going to happen next, as far as when you're being overwhelmed. And that was all, that is their plan. Now, the question is, and this is my concern, if Iran has, we know they have hypersonic missiles because Hezbollah fired one, or the Houthis fired one, and it landed in central Israel. So we know they have hypersonic missiles, which can be, they're tough to knock down. I mean, I'm not sure Israel has the capability to knock them down. Maybe Israel does and just been quiet about it. But we know that they have that capability. Okay. So the next question is, does Israel have, does Iran have tactical nukes that they could actually fire at Israel? Do they have, and that's always been the question. And this is why I remember John Hagee in 2004 wrote a book. I'm trying to remember what the name of that book was. I read it. It's a great book. He wrote it. And he wrote in there that Iran one day will have a nuke and they will use it on Israel. And this was 20 years ago. I remember reading the book. Of course, we've seen Benjamin Netanyahu numerous times stand in front of the United Nations and proclaim, and you can hear the rockets, I can hear them going off right now. They're just unbelievable. Upper Galilee. And so, but it's all over the whole country. Okay, the rockets are being fired all over the entire nation of Israel. And so, but Netanyahu, he would stand in front of the podium there at the United Nations and say, we cannot let them have the bomb. Do you remember him doing that? He would draw the picture and he would show how close they were. And Israel has preemptively has went in and used cyber attacks, and Mossad has been able to go in there and sabotage and mess up their nuclear facilities and capabilities. And they've done this periodically over the last 5-6 years. But this is we're now in a situation where we don't know. I'm sure Israel does know, and they probably know how close Iran is to having some nukes. Now, I have had reports that have said that Iran had as many as 3 or 4 nukes that they could use. Okay. And we've talked about that periodically here on this broadcast numerous times. And so, it's a very serious situation right now. This is a very serious time, and historically, we've not been here before. You have to realize Iran did fire those 300 rockets at Israel a few months ago, but this is different. It looks like they're throwing everything they got, and also the situation. Israel has completely demolished Hamas.
Covered country of people who got hurt on the way to the protected areas. So we'll have to see. Now, remember, we don't know what damage has been done because sirens were going off and people went in their protected areas. So we'll have to see if anything got hit, what got hit. No reports of serious injuries yet from the Iranian rocket fire.
I do have a report that now we have confirmation that Iran fired 150 ballistic missiles, not rockets. The rockets is over 400 or 500 right now, and I can easily see that on my chart. But this is different. 150 ballistic missiles were fired all across Israel in an unprecedented attack. Israelis all over the nation are in bomb shelters. Iran claims that dozens of their missiles fired at Israel, warns of more crushing response if Israel retaliates on Iran. Well, I got news for Iran. Oh, you're going to get retaliated on. There ain't no question about that. Israel has destroyed Hamas and are going to take over the Gaza Strip and control it themselves from now on. I don't care what the UN says. I don't even care what the U.S. says. That's what they're going to do. Second of all, Israel has maimed and has decapitated basically the head of the snake of Hezbollah. They've killed their top 13 leaders. They've blown the hands off and blinded the eyes of many of their fighters with the pager explosions and the walkie-talkie explosions. And then they went in with the airstrikes and they've cut off the head of the snake to the point that Hezbollah is in a state of chaos. And now Iran has unleashed upon Israel hundreds of rockets, including 150 ballistic missiles. Also, we know that 8 Israelis are dead and 7 others are wounded in a separate attack by a gunman in Jaffa. And there's also another area where there's an attack going on. So this is taking place besides all the rockets. So this is happening right now as we speak, that the 150 rockets has been confirmed. Ballistic missiles, not rockets, probably 400 to 500 rockets and another 150 ballistic missiles. I just looking at my chart, I can tell that it's 400 to 500 easily. Okay. At least 500. And, but additionally, besides the 500 rockets that has been fired, there's 150 ballistic missiles. Now, ballistic missiles is a whole different ballgame. And that's why some of them got through. And that's why you could hear the sirens. And that's why you can, there's been the panic.
But another video of missiles hitting near a mall. I'll post that right now.
So
that PM Breaking News posted. There's this crazy video.
I saw the missiles getting through, and I mean they weren't the
Michael
the
Horowitz makes a very good point. Who I follow, Michael, who's a security analyst, a geopolitical security analyst.
So as these rockets are coming in from Hezbollah, additionally, besides the rockets, 150 ballistic missiles come raining down on Israel, and some of those got through. I don't know how many. I don't know. 20 of them get through, 50 of them get through. Don't know. I can tell you, though, I've seen at least 3 or 4 personally myself getting through in the Tel Aviv area, and I'm sure that other missiles got through because these ballistic missiles are much more difficult to shoot down, especially when you're being overwhelmed with hundreds of other rockets. The David Sling is out there, and you've got the Iron Dome, and it's picking them off as fast as it can. But ballistic missiles travel at a much faster speed and carry a bigger punch. Some of those got through. I know they did. I seen it. I heard the explosion. I seen the smoke rolling. I don't know what they hit. Now he's reporting that a mall may have been hit with a rocket or a missile, but this is very, very too early to say at this moment. But we know that there's been this is an attack unprecedented. Amir Safari is saying that his intel is telling him that Iran's about ready to launch another 350 rockets or missiles. Actually, Amir, I guess, was saying on his Facebook page that his intel was that they're about to launch 350 more ballistic missiles. And I'm sure if they're going to launch those, they're going to also launch hundreds of rockets simultaneously to create the overwhelming situation. Now, there was planes in the air that were on their way, these aircrafts are being diverted away from Tel Aviv. I just looked at a map. It just there's no planes coming into Tel Aviv right now. Every aircraft is being sent. Some of them are being sent to Cyprus. Some of them are being sent to Egypt. Some are being sent to United Arab Emirates. There's nothing really flying in over Jordan either. It's the skies are clear over Jordan, over Lebanon, over Israel. Flights are being diverted into other areas of the Middle East to try to protect the people that would have been trying to land. And this is the reason I just couldn't. This is why I was not allowed by the Lord to go to Israel. I wanted to be there. Heidi and I both wanted to be there really bad during the Feast of Pentecost. But the Lord said no. Okay. And then we both wanted to go right now to be there for this fall feast and to take your prayer request there. But the Lord said, no, it's going to get worse. And you've heard me say this.
That's not a live reading right there. So it looks like maybe it landed in Cyprus.
Okay. So he's talking, getting reports coming in about planes being diverted. And so what's happening now is, and this is why we weren't allowed to go. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, though, the Feast of Trumpets, Rosh Hashanah, starts tomorrow at 6 p.m. It really is kind of the time where everybody starts to celebrate it. 6 p.m. tomorrow will begin the Feast of Trumpets, October 2nd. I just taught on the Feast of Trumpets on the Day of Atonement. I just taught on the Feast of Tabernacles, the importance of all of that. And people are already sending in their Feast of Trumpet offerings. You can do that now with your prayer request. I have given mine already in advance of tomorrow. And I've given my offering, and I've also put my prayer request, which I have my family, of course, and my online church and the Freedom Fellowship Church and my church in Indiana, Community Gospel Baptist Church, and so many people. But I've also included, we're in the middle of a 40-day prayer and fasting, Save America. And I put that in there as well. I'm actually really dedicating this time in American history, this election that's coming up. I feel like we've never been in a more critical moment. Think about what's happening right now. You have the massive chaos of the horrific Hurricane Helene that ripped through the Southeast. The death toll's at 133. There's still close to 600 people missing. We're worried about that, very worried. We have the longshoremen went on strike from Maine to Texas, the entire coast. The ports have closed, which will cripple the economy with products that are trying to come in, including a lot of your medication that comes from India comes into the ports, lots of it. And we're talking about a lot of medications that people need, like their insulin and other important medications and blood pressure medications and all kinds of stuff. This stuff comes in to the ports. That's all been shut down. While that's going on here in America, those two chaotic things, you have Iran with this massive attack on Israel right now. And is this Ezekiel 38? Well, Russia hasn't jumped in yet, although you've heard Mike around the world say it. If Iran's doing it, Russia's doing it. If Russia's doing it, Iran's doing it. They're literally joint at the hips. That's what Mike around the world says. But I can say Iran now is in. So Israel's at war with Hamas in Gaza. They're at war with the Houthis out of Yemen. They're at war with Hezbollah out of Lebanon. They're at war with the Syrian army. And now they're at war with the nation of Iran. And the question is, how many more are going to jump in? Who else is going to jump in? Turkey? Russia? We're not sure. But we're We're past some. If anybody, I've had guys send me emails, Begley, you can't say it's the Psalms 83 yet. Yeah, I think I can. I think I can say it's Psalms 83. Now, I'm not saying we're at Ezekiel 38 yet, but man, we are at the brink of it. We are at the brink of this thing. And when you think about Russia, you got to wonder, Russia's got a lot invested in Iran. They got a lot invested in Syria. They got a lot invested in the Middle East. The hook is in the jaw. Will they enter? That's the next thing. Where's the United States? Well, good news is we've got a lot of warships and submarines and air power all over the Middle East. But we are refraining yet. We're still sitting on our hands right now. We're not jumping in. But President Joe Biden, Vice President Harris, they're at the White House. They're convening right now. I'm sure Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense, is involved. I'm sure the Joint Chiefs are there, the top generals, and everything is being monitored, including if Iran has nuclear capability. If they do have if they have, and I've heard they've had as many as 3 or 4 nukes, if they as much as flinch with one of those, all hell will come raining down on Iran. I can tell you that. You cannot let them release one of those. And so, but one wonders, the U.S. has got to be there. They have to be ready, okay? And so we still wait to find out what will be the response on that. Looks like we do have one of the IDF guys talking.
על פי הנחיות פיקוד העורף, אני מבקש מכם להמשיך לגלות אחריות וערנות. במהלך ההגנה ביצענו לא מעט יירוטים. ישנם פגיעות בודדות במרכז ובמרחבים נוספים בדרום הארץ. בשלב זה אנחנו עדיין מעריכים את המצב, אנחנו לא מכירים נפגעים.
Okay, so of course I can't understand Hebrew, but he is one of the top defense spokesmen for the nation of Israel. He's addressing the nation right now on what has happened and what is taking place. He's one of the things I do know the IDF is telling the Israeli citizens is get in your bomb shelters all over that entire nation. Think about if we lived in America, here in America, just think if we had to live under this kind of tyranny. If every one of you had to have a bomb shelter at your home, or if you lived in the cities, you know, you would have to be wondering where you're supposed to be and what bomb shelters were available. And, you know, you live up on the 9th floor of an apartment complex. What are you going to do? And imagine living and living in our nation here. Imagine if the entire community around you, the community of nations around you, hated you and were pointing rockets at you and were cursing you. And matter of fact, people, and you know, I just want to know, where are all the protesters with their little flags running around the college campuses that hate Israel so much? Are they going to keep doing this? Are we going to let them go around and do this, parading around with Hamas flags and Hezbollah flags and wrapping, wraps around their head and rags and scarves and stuff, portraying as if they are terrorists, or at least, I mean, do we allow protest in America? We allow freedom of speech in America, but you can't be threatening the Jewish students who are trying to get to class. You can't be hating on, you can't be destroying and spray painting synagogues or churches. This wickedness. You do know, folks, that we're dealing with spiritual wickedness now. We are dealing with demons from the smoky pits of hell that are fighting against the United States. But but in Israel, it's a physically, they are at war. And Jesus said this would happen. What we're watching right now is prophesied in the book of Zechariah. Jerusalem is being fired on right now, as well as the whole nation of Israel. This is Zechariah 12. This is Psalms 83. This is Matthew 24. This is Luke 21. This is Mark 13. And we're ever so close to moving this thing into Ezekiel 38. And we need to pray like never before. I'll tell you what, I'm going to play a song and quickly do an update on everything going on, get some update. I see more rockets. And I'll be back. Everybody freshen up your coffee. If you're going to give your offerings for the Feast of Trumpets, you could do that right now. Matter of fact, while we're getting a song, and we'll keep the updates coming. Okay, we'll just keep them. We'll keep them coming. I'm not going nowhere yet. I'll be right back. Saturday was silent, and surely it was through. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? And Friday's disappointment is Sunday's empty tomb. Since when has impossible ever stopped you? This is the sound of our dry bones rattling. This is the praise make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Pentecostal fire, stirring something new. You're not gonna run out of miracles anytime soon. Your resurrection power, it runs in my veins too. I believe there's another miracle here in this room. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. This is the praise make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. My God is able to save and deliver and heal and restore anything that he wants to. Just ask the man who was thrown on the bones of Elisha if there's anything that he can't do. Just ask the stone that was rolled at the tomb in the garden. What happens when God says to move? I feel him moving it now. I feel him doing it now. I feel him doing it now. Do it now. Do it now. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. Yeah, this is the praise make a dead man walk again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out. I'm gonna live again.
coming out. I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling.
Son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. Prophesy and say to them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up from your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. Then you shall know that I am the Lord, and I will put my spirit in you, and I will place you in your own land, and you shall live. I will place you in your own land. You shall live, 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 live. We do have breaking news. We have updates. In the name of Jesus, Yeshua, Yeshua, dry bones live. All right, we do have an update here. We do have updates. We're getting reports that some of the 150 ballistic missiles that were fired did get through. There is some damage. There was at least 2 people wounded with shrapnel, but not real bad from the rockets. We do know 8 Israelis were killed and 7 others wounded by a gunman in Tel Aviv. And we are getting reports that there is possible hostages have been taken, held up in a hotel, also in Tel Aviv, by gunmen who have taken, not Tel Aviv, where at, Heidi? North of Tel Aviv. Maybe it was, I'm not sure, north of Tel Aviv. But there is a hotel that gunmen have taken over and they've taken hostages, and that's a fluid situation going on right now. The good news is Iran said we're done now. And Israel, if you're done, we're done. Okay, that's basically what they're saying. We're done now. If you're done, we're done. Israel says, we're not done. Israel did they have just told the citizens across the nation that they can now leave their bomb shelters. They can leave the bomb shelters, go back into their homes, but to remain alert. Okay, but they can come out of their bomb shelters now, but remain alert. So they've gotten the word from Iran. Iran is saying, we're done. We had to respond. We have responded, and now we're done. So that's why there's no more rockets coming now. And Israel has given the all clear sign and has told the Israeli citizens that they can come out of their shelters. And Iran is saying, we're done. And if you're done, we're done. Okay? If you're done, we're done. But Israel's response is, we're not done. So that's where we're at right here, right now, in this situation. I'll continue to keep a close eye, obviously, on everything going on. We'll continue to pray. And I will be back a little bit later here today with more updates of things, not only this situation, but what's going on all around the world as we're truly living in the end times and we're truly living the last days. Good to hear that the rockets have stopped being fired and that and the people can come out of their shelters. But what will happen next? And is this the October surprise or the longshoremen strike from Maine to Texas? Is that which will cripple the U.S. economy and inflation? If this thing goes 2 weeks, we're in big trouble. If it goes a month, we're wiped out. So is the strike the October surprise, or is the attack by Iran on Israel, is that the October surprise? Or the devastating hurricane and more that are forming? Or will there be more? Or is this a series of attacks and situations? And this is why we did the webinar, October Surprise. Matter of fact, when you hear the different speakers, which is the most phenomenal thing we ever put together, they give you a lot of possible scenarios. We're just getting started. Today's October 1st. I'll be back with more on the coming apocalypse.